था विलेज हेडमैन, पंच जिसको कहते हैं. The lowest judges is what? If there is some petty problems are there, that will be handled by whom? Village headmen, thereafter judges, and thereafter the final court of appeal, king. And then we have seen that, but he was the final court of appeal and issued ready judgment. King Ashoka made many reforms in the judicial system of the Mauryan Empire. Understood? Who was the final court of appeal? And who is the lowest? Village headman. And the king had the sovereign power of law making and also the power and right to supersede uses and equity. Equity तो आप लोग जानते होंगे. I have discussed with you. Yes or not? कभी भी सोसाइटी में कैसी भी equity हो, he can also remove this and he can make new. Uses का मतलब होता है whatever you are doing and in your habits, always any action you are doing in your habit. Every society is something which is in the habit. हमारी इंडियन सोसाइटी हैज सम हैबिट, यस और नो? दिल्ली सोसाइटी हैज सम हैबिट. सो हैबिट्स आर इन द ट्रेडिशन एंड ऐसे कुछ सिस्टम को भी ही कैन सुपरसीड. सो ही कैन यूजेस, ही कैन सुपरसीड द यूजेस, ही कैन सुपरसीड द इक्विटी, नॉट इक्वालिटी, इक्विटी. एंड आई डिस्कस, आई सेड दैट इक्विटी क्या होता है? यस टेल मी. याद होगा, दिस इज एन, कल कहाँ मैच हुआ था? वेयर द मैच? हैदराबाद में हुआ था. ऐसा क्यों? हैदराबाद में क्यों कर दिया? Who can see? This यहाँ पे बाउंड्री है, अभी वॉल है और उधर मैच हो रहा है, तो who can see? Who can see the match? First one. Clear? Who can see? तो जनरली हम लोग इक्वलिटी बिफोर द लॉ हम लोग इस प्रकार से देखते हैं, लेकिन हम लोग क्या करते हैं? We try to give women to be more, kids to be more reservation. So what we try to do? इसका मतलब क्या है? फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड. अब सबको टेबल लगा दिया अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस. नाउ एवरीवन कैन सी. दैट इज व्हाट? इक्विटी. दैट इज व्हाट? सो आई सेड दैट यूजेस एंड इक्विटी, व्हाटएवर इट इज एग्जिस्टिंग इन द सोसाइटी, यूजेस एंड सम इक्विटी, दैट कैन बी सुपरसीड बाय मिस्टर किंग, सोवरेन अथॉरिटी. And then in addition to all this, the king was the supreme commander of the army, and then the king was also the ultimate authority of the bureaucracy. Ultimate authority of, and I have asked, what is the bureaucracy? Tell me first. Bureaucracy क्या होता है? Non-elected, yes or not, rulers of the society. And one it is in a, कौन है? Elected one, MLA, MPs and so many. And आप लोग कौन से बने हुए? Non-elected, but through the competition, through the, that is in a bureaucrats. And the king also controlled the Mauryan Empire revenue system. It is true that the Mauryan kings enjoyed huge power. अच्छा ये मुझे बताओ, before the Buddhism and Buddha and then the Dhamma, Ashok Dhamma, which religion was existing? Which religion was existing? Hindu. And if the Hindu religion was existing, it means I said that yes. And Hindu laws, हमारे यहाँ आज भी Hindu laws है और हम लोग उसके अगेंस्ट नहीं जाते हैं, नहीं तो हमें सोसाइटी से बाहर कर दिया जाएगा. Yes or no? So we have to face the what is in a code of conduct which has our Hindu law has given. Yes or no? Hindu laws, we still what is in our justice and judicial system follows what is in a Hindu laws. Yes or no? A Hindu law, Muslim law, इसी की वजह से Article 44 it is an uniform civil code. It is under the problem. तो एवरी हमारे यहाँ क्या है? बहुत सारे हैं. सभी को हम लोग फिर देखने लग जाते, क्या करें यार, उसमें बोलते पर्दा लगा लो, उसमें बोलते ये कर लो, आप एजुकेशन, 3 तलाक वाला सिस्टम एंड ऑल. तो उसकी वजह से हमारा कौन है? विच आर्टिकल गेट अंडर द प्रॉब्लम? आर्टिकल 44. सो आई सेड दैट वहां पे बोल रहे हैं कि हम लोग, आप लोग, हम लेडीज को, मुस्लिम लेडीज को कैसे आप तलाक दे देते हो? आप 3 तलाक दे दिए. तो वो किसके बेसिस पे दिया जा रहा है? लेकिन इनफॉर्म सिविल कोड के अगेंस्ट हो गया, सभी के लिए सेम होना चाहिए इन आवर सोसाइटी. सो आई सेड who is the ultimate authority and who will, what is a powerful in the judicial system also. And then I said that firstly आपको देखेंगे, लेकिन हम लोग फिर भी हिंदू लॉज के, अपने लॉज के अगेंस्ट नहीं जाते. तो उस समय हिंदुइज्म इज देयर, तो लॉ इज पावरफुल और किंग इज पावरफुल. Hindu law is powerful, yes or not? Even the king has to abide the law, क्योंकि before Buddha and all, who is there? Hindu laws, और उसको तो हमारे ब्लड में रहेगा ही रहेगा. सोसाइटी में we are preaching the Buddha and Dhamma, everyone is not becoming this one. तो इसमें हमें सोसाइटी में उनके जो लॉज हैं उसको भी हमें रिस्पेक्ट करना है. एंड देन आई सेड दैट मौर्यन एम्पायर बिफोर अशोका वाज एसेंशियली एन हिंदू स्टेट. Yes or not? We can summarize the limitation of the following manner. Ashoka's what is the limitation? According to Hindu concept, supreme sovereign of the state was Dhamma or law, and then king is the only. पढ़ते हैं ना? King is the only caretaker or guardian. Understood? Secondly, the Mauryan king never dared to defy the ancient law and uses, the regular practices. They never defied. They never defined. Thirdly, I said that if any situation is there, who can make the law? King can make the law. But in case of emergency, it is obligatory that you have to follow the Mantri Parishad. It means Council of Ministers, and then majority. In case of, it has been mentioned, not now I am talking about, it is talking about during the Mauryan Empire. Thirdly, the king was aided and advised by their Mantri Parishad, Council of Ministers, Mantri Parishad, and in ordinary times he could ignore the advice of, but in times of emergency it was obligatory on him to hear the individual and collective advice of minister. और यदि कोई minister उस समय नहीं है, they will send the letters to them and they will take the advice. So I said that, and then fourthly, the Brahmins had the great influence over the king, and even the latter, they latter did not to disobey them. ब्राह्मण थे, पूजा चल रहा था, सब कुछ हो रहा था. Dhamma is going on. He is, what is, and I said that Dhamma, Asoka Dhamma is what? Inculcation of several good things from the different faiths. Yes or not? So it is, we cannot, he is not discarding the Hindu. Yes or not? वो तो ब्राह्मण अपने तरफ से बोल रहे हैं, हम लोगों ने क्यों वेदास छोड़ा? Because of the what? Toughness. Because of the austerity. Yes or not? Therefore we started moving against of it. So I said that, thereafter I said, fifthly, the powers of the Mauryan government was decentralized in nature, completely decentralized. जैसे हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? We are looking federal, but actually union. We are looking our system looking what? Federal, but actually what is there? Union. हम लोग ने states को power दे रखा है, but actually में जब आएगा तो we can what? Take all the power. So I said that क्या था? Fifth, the powers of the Mauryan government was decentralized in nature, but the provincial, under the provincial governor and provincial minister had the right to consulted by the king, especially in all provincial matters. इसका मतलब आप करते भी रहो, लेकिन साथ में फिर किसके साथ पास जाओ? Intimate everything to the whom? King. इसका मतलब looking like decentralized, but actually centralized. Understood? क्योंकि he cannot run the governor such a large area without decentralization, but he made centralized. The Mauryan king were benevolent and they were always eager to do well of their people, and was essentially for this reason the king dared not to do anything which make people unhappy and alienate them. This is so far the power and position of the king is concerned, but he could not run this vast empire alone, so he had to depend on the various officials and ministers. The Mauryan king had to depend on the council of ministers for the success of the Mauryan administration. And then council of ministers of Mauryan empire were known as, जिसके और उनकी जरूरत कब पड़ती थी? In case of emergency. And then they are running the administration also. And then the number of the ministers in the Mauryan administration system were not fixed and varied according to the needs. Fixed नहीं the ministry, number of ministers. And then Kautilya favored a large council. क्या फेवर किया था? यदि money नहीं है तो you can't run the If you do not have the finance, the government cannot run smoothly. And then Kautilya favored a large council as per the need to the empire. The members of the Mantri Parishad had to qualify themselves. जितने भी आ रहे थे, they are what is ना qualifying themselves through an exam. And कौन सा एग्जाम था? Religion. टेस्ट किस पे होता था? Religion, love, fear and money. कहीं भी पकड़े गए बाहर. So I said that, which I said that religion, love, fear and money. And in emergency the king consulted the Mantri Parishad and guided by the majority of the decision and missed majority of the decision. किसके through जाते थे? Those who are giving the majority. And even the absentee ministers were consulted by the letter correspondence. For efficient central administration of Mauryan government, there was an efficient organized hierarchy of bureaucrats. जो आगे हम लोग देखेंगे. And there is filled with the central executive, judicial and revenue and all. And then they have several departments. And every department is what is headed by superintendents. It is known as Adhyaksha. And then in the Mauryan Empire, there is 30 Adhyaksha. How many Adhyaksha? How many Adhyaksha? 30 word यहाँ पे famous है. Mauryan Empire के लिए 3030 is famous. How many Adhyaksha? 30. Understood? And then I said, in addition to this, superintendents, there were two other posts which is an high officials. You know that administrative system is Samaharta, collector of the revenue, and Money Data, Miss head of the treasury. These are the two. A part of it, और हम लोगों ने दो और important देखे थे, Pradeshika and Rajuka. Understood? So I said that after the Adhyaksha, what is the other two? Samaharta, collector of revenue, and then Money Data. अब मन्नी करते रहना, बाद में वहां पे तो सन्नी आ ही जाएगा. So I said that Money Data, and Money Data head of treasury. And the Samaharta was, आप जानते होंगे, probably the post of Sunny Data was the mint of what is an officer in charge of the treasury and the store, and then everything he was maintaining from there. His empire has been divided into, I said that, some provinces. And then one it is in a provinces which is under the direct rule of king, and some it is under the governors as in a vassal states or feudal lords. Understood? Under the direct or under the what? Indirect, in the form of vassal states through the governors. So if you see the direct, north, west, east, central and south. If you see north, हमने क्या देखेंगे north में? Taxila. Which one I said that? North में? Taxila. What is there? North, what the capital was? Taxila. And then west में जाएंगे जहाँ पे अवंती उज्जैन. What is there? उज्जैन. और east में जाएंगे तो तोसाली. What is there? East में Bengal side. And then south में will see what? Swarnagiri. And then central में देखेंगे Patliputra. These are the 5 provinces were under the direct rule, and others are what I said that indirect. Understood it? And then we have been able to see that इसके अलावा और ज़्यादा कोई important नहीं है. Thereafter we are going to see Kautilya. Kautilya, the greatest political thinker of ancient India, laid the great stress on the treasury. किस पे importance दिया? Treasury. Who is the head of this treasury? Money Data. And then treasury as the smooth and successful functioning of the government depends on finance. Who has said? Kautilya in his Arthashastra. How many Adhikarnas are there? 1, 5, 15. And then the main sources of the Mauryan revenue were the taxation and rent. Taxation and rent को कैसे देखेंगे? Rent is land revenue. Land revenue is rent. And it is how much? 1/6. How much it is? But you know that whether it is in a Mauryan period, whether it is in a Mughal and Muslims and all the British period, the land revenue was not fixed completely. Somewhere if you'll go, I said that there is a Jamindari, Rayatwari and Mahalwari, if you know that. And Rayatwari in the south side. And if you'll see that on the basis of what is वहाँ पे direct, Rayat का मतलब होता है कि यहाँ पे direct relationship between the what is Britishers and farmers. लेकिन यहाँ पर लिया जाता था क्या? On the basis of the quality of the land. On the basis of the quality of the land. तो यहाँ पर भी it has been said that I will take 1/6. I will take how much? But they are taking more on the basis of. अच्छा, लैंड की कीमत दिल्ली में ज्यादा है या बिहार में? दिल्ली. So it depends upon the place, quality and all. The land revenue was based on all this. Understood? A part of it, there is a taxation system. Excise duty and several kind of taxation system. These are the two ways they are maintaining their finance. Understood? I said that excise duty, forest tax, water tax, mines, coinage, several tax. The foreigners are coming, tax on it. You are dying, the tax on it. You are taking birth, tax on it. Yes or not? Industrial tax, manufacturer tax, everything there will be a sum. Give the taxation. Yes or not? So everything is there. So I said so many taxation system. Judicial system का कौन था head? Tell me. जो आप कर चुके हैं. Who is the head? King. The final authority? King. And who is the lowest? Village headman. The king was the head of the judiciary and he himself was the judge. He was the highest court of appeal and personally listened the appeals from the people. However, since the Mauryan Empire was used, and it was not possible for king to solve each and every case. Therefore, so he appointed many judges subordinate to him to hear the cases. And then ordinary petty cases were generally executed by the village headmen. And however, during Ashoka's time, many reforms were made in this Article 72. Article Pardon.